a minute. Y'all might not even been able to hear me. I think I was a little muted there. I was trying to say that I started a new streaming service, and I decided to do that about 3 hours ago. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to figure it out. And I'm pretty sure I was muted there in the beginning. And I told myself, don't forget to unmute me up there. Oh, well, I mean, what are you going to do? Anyway, so this is my second live. Still a little bit nervous about doing a live. I had some questions last week. That was good. What the heck did I even talking about? I think I just talked about, mainly it was just an introduction, right? And answered some Amazon questions and so forth. I don't know. Somehow I'm gonna get through this. I one way or another. But anyway, hey, I had a interesting conversation today with Convoy. I did record that conversation, and I'm going to actually make 2 videos about the conversation that I had with them today. And I expect that video will be out, well, both of them, I hope to have one out this week and one out probably early next week. And maybe if I get the time, I can get them both out this week. But they've got some exciting stuff happening over there, and they wanted to reach out to me and see if I wouldn't mind helping them out, publicizing it. And you guys know that I pump Convoy up quite a bit. You know what? Let me look at the comments here. If you guys, by the way, if you have any questions, type them in the comments there, and I'll get to them eventually. I do have some comments that came in earlier today, or questions I should say, so we'll go over those. But as I was saying about Convoy, you guys know that I'm really excited about them and where they're going, and I pretty much steer away from, well, how do I want to say that? I think what I want to say is, if someone were to ask me, can I make a living at Amazon or can I make a living at Convoy? If I were to tell you what I would do is, if you just wanted to pick one, is I really do believe Convoy's your answer. But you know, that's why you get signed up with as many places as you can, right? You, where was I? I was at Uber Freight, C.H. Robinson. Oh, for Christ's sake, I can't even freaking remember what the heck I was signed up with. But, and I had a couple of private carriers, Landstar, authorized carrier with Landstar. But you have all these guys in your bucket, right? But I think that you will see that Convoy really does offer some great products within their suite. And everything that Convoy offers is in their app. Okay, you don't have to do anything else. Just go into their app. And that's like most carriers, but when I get into, or brokers, I should say, but when I get into these videos at the end of the week, like I said, I had a great conversation with them today, over an hour long. You'll see what I mean when I put those up for you. And I'll try to get those up sooner rather than later. Let's see. I got all kinds of news going on, but can someone put in the chat right now? I see a couple of people are there. Can you just put down in the chat whether or not you can hear me? And I'm hoping this is the chat that yeah, it says live chat. So, or I'm sure if you haven't been able to hear me, I should have seen something there by now. But like I said, man, stepping out onto this streaming software service. First of all, I'm new to streaming, okay? So that's a big jump. Like I said, this is only my second one. And then today I decide, oh, let's change things up 3 hours before the live stream. So, yeah. Missy. Thank you, Missy. I'm flying blind here, dear. I'm just a mess right now. It's been a busy day. this is I don't really have a whole lot of things planned for this live stream as I go. Every Monday, by the way, I'm going to do this. I might change the timing around a little bit, but last week it was 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm trying 3 o'clock this time, but every Monday I'm going to go live, okay? And like I say, I have those 2 videos plus another 10 that are on the back burner there, but I do want to get those 2 convoy videos out for you. Anyway, really only thing I had lined up today to talk to you guys about is the new hours of service and the explanation of what's going on there. And you may have already heard about it, the 3 main changes, and from someone else on YouTube or whatever. But we all sometimes aren't so clear, I guess, and maybe some of us are more clear. I just hope I don't muddy the waters for you, okay? So I just want to talk about the 3, Henry, thank you for commenting, and James, thank you for commenting. I'm curious if you guys caught the beginning of the stream, either of you 3 there. Was I muted? I'm curious if any of the 3 of you were here at the very beginning before my intro played, which was a fail the first time. Let me know if I was muted at the very beginning. Okay, so let's talk about hours of service a little bit. And as these live streams go forward, my plan is to start out with maybe what's going on with fuel. And some news items. Believe me, I don't know if you guys look at news items on Google in the trucking industry or anywhere else. If you're like me, you're subscribed to several different boards and whatever. I tell you what, there is some there's some stuff that goes on out there in our industry, okay? So I'll probably follow it up with a couple of news items and then whatever it is that I want to get across to you guys that day. And your questions and answers. Now listen, those of you who are new and maybe haven't seen my videos, I don't claim to know everything there is to know in trucking, all right? I hesitate to call myself an instructor or anybody who, a mentor or whatever. I just disseminate information that comes my way. And what I like to say is I know a little about a lot of things. But I don't know a lot of, I'm just not, my brain doesn't work that way. But I do know a little about a lot of things. You'd be surprised at what I've accomplished in my life. So, but if you want to know everything trucking, then this is the right place. I do have a new series coming up. It's going to be called Trucking Business Basics, and I'm going to start out with some IFTA information. That'll probably be sometime next week, maybe even this week. So subscribe and hit the bell notification so you know that when my videos come out. And by the way, I have some links down below that might be helpful for you if you want to contact me through email. I do have some products that I use and have reviewed. There are some Amazon links, affiliate links down below as well. You might find something there that you're interested in. But with all of that said, let me just talk to you a little bit about hours of service. Now, as all of you know, or maybe didn't, right? The hours of service this has been going on for 5 years or something, is finally changing as of September 29th at 12:01 a.m. And there are there's 3 main changes. The first change, well, what I should say are these are the first changes since 2013, and I think 2013. And I think that at that time, the only major change was 30-minute rule came into effect, okay, which is actually affected in this go-around. Let me just check here real quick. Okay. Thank you for that, Missy, that you got the notifications 12 minutes after I started. Okay. So since 2013, there have been no changes, but a lot of talk. So here we go with the changes. You're going to have a new sleeper berth split the 30-minute break, as I mentioned, is changing, and the short haul exemption is changing as I navigate my way here. Nope, that's not what I want. Hanging with me, guys? New streaming service. Okay. The current sleeper split, as we all know, is 8-2. 10-hour break can be split by 2 breaks consisting of 8 hours and 2 hours. The 2-hour break at this point, as you know, does not affect your 14-hour clock. I mean, it does nothing for us, right? I mean, in order to get any hours back, we've got to take the 8 first, and then we get back whatever it is we didn't use on our last shift. And then we can take 2 hours off after that and then get back whatever we still have not used, right? So a little confusing, but I think those of you who do the split are familiar with it. The big thing here in comparison is that the 2-hour break currently does really nothing for us unless we take it after the 8 hours. So what's changing now is the new split is, and they call it a minimum, 7-3. FMCSA says that's a minimum. I don't quite know what they mean by minimum. I mean it is 10 hours, and yeah, you can take more, but then you're getting into, well, if you're going to take a 5-hour break, why don't you just take a 7-hour break? So I don't know what they mean by minimum, but it has changed to a 7-3 split. Now, the big change is this. You can now pause your 14-hour on-duty clock with a minimum 2-hour break. So you can take a minimum of 2 hours of a break, and that will pause, and you can take it before the 7 hours, and that will pause your 14-hour day. Let me give you an example here. So if you look here, let's say this driver came on duty at midnight. He started driving at 1 o'clock in the morning until 7, okay? Now, normally when we come on at midnight, we're done at 2 p.m. It's a 14-hour day, right? Whether we drove 1 hour or 11 hours, we're done at 2 p.m. because of the 14-hour rule. Now, unless you split, but if you split, in the current sense, you can't extend your clock, okay? So you drive until 7 o'clock. This guy took, at 7 a.m., he took 3 hours off, okay? At 10 a.m., he came on duty till noon, and then is driving from noon until 5, where he goes back into the sleeper burst. So see what that did for him? These 3 hours over that he took off from 7 to 10 allowed him to stretch his 14-hour day from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Okay, so that's the big change. Now, if you only take a 2-hour break, by the way, and then you go off duty at 5 o'clock here, or I don't really want to use that. Let's just say if you only take a 2-hour break, you're going to have to take 8 hours off on the other end to make up for the 10, okay, to get your time back. You can't take just 7 because you're only going to have 9 hours. If you take 3 off and then you're 7, of course you're fine. Does that make sense, everybody? Do you guys have any questions about that? So basically now you can take that 2-hour or 3-hour or 4-hour break in the beginning or before your big break, and it will pause your 14-hour day. So that was the huge change, in my opinion. Let's talk about the 30-minute break. Now, the 30-minute break, as we all know, comes within 8 hours of on-duty time, not driving time, but on-duty time. For when you first came on duty, from that point, even if you started driving 7 hours after that, you can only drive for 1 hour before you take your 30-minute break, right? Because it's 8 hours after your on-duty time. And currently, you can take it in either off-duty or sleeper, or a combination of the both, all right? Now, what they've done is something pretty cool, is you can take your break within, well, you need to still take your break within 8 hours. That hasn't changed, same thing. However, the new rule does permit that you can now use any line that is not the driving line to take your break. So you can use off duty, you can use sleeper berth, and where this really helps, if you guys are on a tight schedule and you need to go, is you can take it in the on duty, not driving, which is what, when you're feeling right, feeling, scaling, whatever, that time can now be counted towards your 30-minute break. So, you know what I'm hoping, by the way? I'm really hoping that will cure some of the trucks that hang around in the fuel island, because that really bugs the hell out of me. Anyway, so those are the changes. Again, with the 30-minute break and with the split sleeper berth. And there's one more change. It probably doesn't affect very many of you, but I may as well talk about it since it's a change, and it's the third change. And it is not that one. Hang with me. Hang with me. There. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. There it is. Short haul exemption. Currently, you don't need a logbook if the operation is within 100-mile air radius from your home base. And it also only allows drivers 12 hours of on-duty time. Now, that is as the crow flies, okay? It's air mile radius. So 100 miles, 12 hours is the current rule. They have changed that. Wow, that came up just perfect. The new rule is your logbook is not required if operation is within a 150-mile radius of home base. And it also bumps up that 12 hours to drivers being allowed to have up to 14 hours of on-duty time. So those are all three of the changes. The big one being, well, the two that really do affect us is the split sleeper. I do like the idea of that 7-hour rest and being able to extend my 14-hour day. There are times when, well, in order to make scheduling, we all have that, right? So that was huge there. And then the 30-minute break, being able now to count, 15 minutes or 20 minutes or however long you're in the fuel island, filling up, to count that as part of your 30-minute break. So I think those are huge. What do you guys think? I mean, do you see any of those items helping you out? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious about that. So that is what I wanted to bring to you guys today, and I managed to get through it without too much fuss, right? Yep. Thank you. So let's see if I have any questions. I don't have any questions. How about we look at a couple questions I got earlier, if that's okay with you guys. Not going to keep you too much longer. I just got you some couple of questions here that came in, and I'm trying to find them. And it's not, somebody asked me about working. He says, not sure that I wanted to be an owner-operator with my own authority or working for a company like Landstar. I'm thinking of working for a company that has more drop-in hooks versus live load. And I can't really speak to that. Well, I can speak to Landstar. Drop-in hook with Landstar is spotty. That's not, that probably won't work for you. And other companies, I mean, I'm sure there's companies that an owner-operator can lease onto that has drop-and hook, mostly or a lot. but I'm not aware of them because I've only worked for Landstar for a little over a year, and then under my own authority. Now, when I worked running my own authority, I know that Convoy had a lot of drop and hook, and of course Amazon's full of it. You can run power only over there. It's just that getting loads at the destination where you're going is sometimes a little tough. And the rates, unless they've come up in the last 4 weeks or so, Amazon wouldn't be my first choice, as they were when I first started out. But as time went on, they were just kind of like in my back pocket when I needed to get out of somewhere or needed to get to somewhere. But I know Convoy's got drop and hook. Other than that, I don't like talking about stuff I don't know about. So there's that. Someone asked me, what and how does Amazon pay for truck service? I don't. How and what does Amazon, I wonder, let me look at something here. Truck service. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but if someone knows off the top of their head and they think they know what he's talking about, maybe you can mention it or bring it up in the comments for me, because my thin brain isn't understanding that. Sorry about that, man. Henry Woods, how are you, brother? Let me answer your question here. Do you have to have workman's comp insurance just for yourself with Amazon and Convoy? Also, would you even need an ELD on the new 150-mile rule? Okay. Workman's comp. Henry, it depends on where you live. Now, I had operations in both California and Utah. Both of those states allowed me to not have workman's comp insurance, which Amazon accepted that. Amazon does require you to have workman's comp insurance on yourself and any drivers that you have. But if your operation is registered in a state that does not require you to have workman's comp insurance, then Amazon will give you a waiver as well as Convoy. Okay, so in both Utah and California, like I said, they gave me no problem, and they gave me a waiver. Now, the first time you get a driver in either of those states, you will need, of course, workman's comp on your driver, but they're also going to make you get workman's comp on yourself as well. Okay, their thinking is it doesn't make sense for you to just have it on the driver. If you're part of the business, you need to have it on yourself. So in a state that says no, nothing, you don't have to do anything, they'll give you a waiver. But when you get that first driver, you'll need to pay for the driver and you'll need to pay for yourself. Okay, I hope that answers your question, bud. And you said also ELD on the 150-mile rule. You don't. There's no log record keeping for the short haul exemption. So no, you do not. But you you know what? I'm going to get back to you on, because I think there's I think it's just record of duty status, I guess. No, but the short answer is no, you do not. Okay, so that's a savings. If you're going to have a day cab, you better be running in a day cab, right? Otherwise, they're going to be asking you questions, and when you go through the scale. So the short answer is no. But I'm going to check on something, and I'm going to get back to you on that. Alex, how you doing, bud? What about cancellations with Amazon? Do they pay for them? Okay. You're sending me down the rabbit hole now, man. Where's my little? You're sending me like way. and to keep going way down the rabbit hole. They're supposed to, and they say that they will do it automatically. I have had, thank you, Henry. Appreciate it, bud. I have had cancellations with Amazon. None of them have been automatically paid. And I think it was only $100, $100 and a quarter, maybe $100 and a quarter. Might be different now. Okay, it's been a couple of months. But it was never automatic like I claimed. I always had to submit a claim through the app. Sometimes I had to do it more than once. And I know one time it took like 1 week and I had the TONU paid. But other times it was up to a month, and you have to keep after them. And bud, I tell you what, they're good at canceling you right at the gate. You know, that just used to piss me the hell off. Excuse my French, but I mean, that was the one thing with Amazon that that's the one that really made me just put them in my back pocket and they weren't in my front pocket. But you had to fight. There was like maybe 5 cancellations. Okay. And I think I ran their loads for 5-6 months maybe, or no longer than that, almost a year, I guess. Had 5 or 6 canceled loads. And I think, they never paid me for one of them. So yeah, they'll pay you, but they'll pay you a cheap rate, and they'll pay you when they're darn well and ready to pay you. Okay, that's how that works, unless it's changed. Let me put that disclaimer out there, all right? So, Phil, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm glad you're here too, buddy. They pay you good for a cancel. So, you know what, Phil? So, I would like to know, like, how many cancellations have you had, approximately, you know? And how quickly have you been paid on them? Because I might be out of the loop on that a little bit, all right? And is it still $100 and a quarter or $150? Oh, hold on. You have another... okay. All right, good. I see that now. 5 in a month. Hey, has it been at the gate? You know, you're rolling up, you're in your bobtail, you're ready to pick up and go, and it's canceled, right? I just freaking hated that, man. So, okay, so it's 150, and it might have been that. I thought it was 100 and a quarter, but yeah, I heard they were raising it. It may have been that all the time, I don't know. And you do get it automatically. Okay, you don't have to fight with them anymore. Yep, at the gate. I'm telling you, man, it's hell. Because then your whole day's shot, then you're scrambling on all the other apps or to see what they have there. Or, oh man. Now I mainly ran, by the way, Southwest. So I had a little triangle I like to do from Southern California up to Salt Lake City, and then cut back to like Central California, Fresno area, and then down to Southern California again. That was kind of like my little thing there. And Salt Lake canceled once, and Vegas, though. Vegas has like 4 facilities for trucks, or at least 3 for truck. No, 4 facilities for trucks, and they all canceled. It was just anyway. Alex, 3 in 1 week, no trailers, and they will keep sending me to other places. And oh yeah, man, you know what? That started happening to me towards the end. Where they would say, well, we don't have anything here. Can you go over there? And yeah, man, you'd go to their other facility and there'd be trailers like parked out in the dirt or whatever. And maybe they were bad ordered or something, or there just wasn't anything available. I remember hooking up to a trailer once, and some guy came running at me out of that facility and screaming and hollering at me, man. And like I'm committing murder, and telling me, you can't take that trailer. And I'd say, well, Amazon said I can come take this trailer. And, you know, I'd leave it there for the customer. He knows what's going on better than I do. And yeah, man, I do remember that. That's a pain in the butt. You had empty moves. My load never canceled. Yeah. Oh, so you took empty trailers. Isn't that that's a trip, man. So I remember Oh, at Convoy, not Amazon? I'll get back to that in a minute, but when I first started hauling Amazon loads, it was like, okay, take this load from, Vegas to Southern California, whatever, and the damn thing was empty. And then, and one time they had me take a load from Salt Lake City all the way to San Bernardino, California. You can barely do that in 11 hours, and I really don't think you can legally. I mean, it's really close. And then they'd have me pick up an empty from there and haul it to Vegas. Or I think one time they even had me haul an empty back up to Salt Lake. So I'm hoping they're getting better on their logistics. But one thing you guys have to know with hauling Amazon loads is that, so you look at the rate, right? And then I think the rate's a little down, but you can find good loads. But people will look at the rate, like I did, but you have to understand that they're mainly round-trip loads, and one way is loaded and the other way is empty. So you really do well on fuel, okay? Because your loaded trailer, I'm not sure I ever had a trailer over 10,000 pounds. I think most of my loads were between 5,000 and 8,000 pounds in the box. One thing you do have to be careful of, and which you have no control over if the trailer is sealed when you get there, is those dock workers. I mean, they're kids, right? They don't secure correctly, and really, it's not your problem how they secure the load, especially if the doors are sealed. But I do feel like we owe a little bit of a responsibility if we absolutely see something that's just going to be a mess at the other end, that we take a little bit of time to go and button it up a little bit. But their load securement, unless that's gotten better, is horrible. Alex, when you say multiple stops on my orders, 9 to 11 stops, what are those, bud? Are you talking Amazon? Are you talking... And are you using your own trailer? If it's Amazon, I'm curious about that. 9 to 11 stops. I've never had, even when I was running with my own trailer with Amazon, doing live loads and live unloads, yeah, all of them were single loads. Amazon line haul. Is that off of the... Is that off of the relay board? Or are you... Okay, interesting. So is that off the relay board, or are you working off the dedicated board? Because that's really interesting to me. I've never had that, bud. I've only had... Interesting. Well, they're changed a little bit. Like I said, I've been out of the truck for a few months, so... That's interesting. That's a little bit of work. I hope it's paying. I'm curious. That's relay. Okay. Are they paying per stop? I guess it could be all built into the rate, right? That's what they were doing before. They would just build everything into the rate. So, I mean, as long as it's lucrative for you to keep those, to do those stops, right? Then cool. I mean, that's fine. Northeast. Oh, bud. Oh, God. I tell you what. Us West Coasters, I don't have to say anything else, right? That Northeast. But I'm going to tell you how I got used to the Northeast and going into Manhattan. Going over the GW. Yeah, well, okay, so I see what you're saying, Alex. They're putting it into the rate, and man, you can't beat that. I would do stops all day long, okay, for a 300-mile run. I mean, what are you looking at? $4 a mile or something. I mean, yeah, it's worth it for me to get a little exercise and do all the stops. But let me tell you what got me used to the Northeast is I used to work in entertainment as well in trucking, and I worked for a company called Upstaging, and we did rock star tours and stuff. And so there's always stuff going on in the city. You guys know that live up in the Northeast. I tell you what, first time I went over that bridge and I took that little off ramp, I think it was onto Broadway. I don't remember, man. But the good thing about us is we go in the early morning hours, and we usually leave in the early morning hours. So we arrive anywhere between, it could be between 3 and 5 a.m. or something into our next destination, and we leave, midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. But man, I tell you what got me used to that area and everything is going 3 or 4 times over the GW, knowing where to go, then going all the way down into Manhattan and going over to, what do they call it, the Javits Center, and of course the Garden and all of that, parking on the side streets. So it took my fear away, so to speak, because I was in entertainment, and of course we went in, not in the middle of the day. But I'll never forget my last trip out of Manhattan. Snowing, leaving the Garden, snowing, man. I mean, of course it was, and I just hate snow. Snowing, and we had to get out, and there were 4 snow plows ahead of me, plowing the road, and I'm just following, wipers going, and just trying to keep up with them, and they're plowing my way out of the city. That's a pretty good memory. I think I have video of that, but I still like to stay away from that area, man. It's nice to visit, but oh man, boy, the traffic you guys deal with, that I-95 is about enough to make me stab myself in the eye. I tell you what. But good for you guys running over there. Okay, so let's talk about the dedicated board, James. Good to have you here, bud, because I did bring it up. Now, the dedicated board is, and I don't really want to call it a dedicated board because, as I said, I don't like to really speak about what I don't know about. So I'm going to just tell you what I know, okay? Their dedicated division is for owner-operators that have 3 trucks or more. So that's why you'll see, like, J.B. Hunt especially pull a lot of Amazon trailers, because they have a dedicated account with Amazon. And as far as I know, other than you having a decent safety record and at least 3 trucks, then you're qualified to actually bid on their dedicated lanes. Now, I don't know how that process works. I don't know who you, I think there is a dedicated division. So if you are currently with Amazon and you want to call the relay number and then ask them to transfer you to the dedicated department, then they can give you more information on that, okay? But you do need at least 3 trucks, and you need to have a good safety rating. And so what that is, and I can't tell you what times a year the bids come out. I don't know, or how often. So that's why you should call them, okay? But it pays better over there. Definitely pays better over there. The rates won't vary, because whatever the contract is what they're going to pay you, okay? So the rate is going to be the same. When you bid on that account or on that lane and you're awarded it, you know what you're going to be paid until the contract runs out, right? So that's good. But I do know that it pays better. It's because you would think, I mean, a lot of times out there, the spot market, I mean, last minute loads and whatever, they can be hot, right? The rates can go up for us. But that doesn't seem to happen much on the relay board. And the relay board is Amazon's spot market, all right? So some of those loads will come from the dedicated division, where the owner couldn't cover the load for some reason, and it gets put onto the relay board. If it's a hot load, I mean, I've seen $4, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I've seen $4 a mile loads over on Amazon. Doesn't last long. Doesn't last long at all, but they're there. So yeah, talk to the dedicated division, James, if you have 3 trucks or more, and that's how that works. I saw one more question in here. I don't see anything new from you guys. If you just Hang with me for just a minute. Somebody was asking me about social media. So I actually do have social media. I have a Facebook page, but I'm changing it over currently. So I'm not going to give you guys that information. It's in one of my older videos. But I'm changing the format of that over. If you want to get in touch with me, you can email me at TruckingTopicsToday@gmail.com for any of your questions or comments. And if you're, I'm drinking hot tea today, hot tea in California, right? But if you would like to support the channel, I do have a website, TruckingTopicsTodayVIP.com. Buy me a cup of coffee. And I do have some other things in there for you if you're so interested. But I answer all my questions in email. Okay, if it's not going to take me more than 15 minutes to talk to you, then I'm happy to give any free advice that I can to help you guys out. Okay, here's a good one. So somebody asked me about Amazon, and I'm sorry that all my stuff is about Amazon, but you guys are really interested about Amazon, and that's what most of my stuff is on. But I am branching out. Like I said, next week I have some informative IFTA videos coming out. I've got the 2 convoys coming out where I spoke to them on a Zoom. That's going to come out first before the IFTA. So I am kind of not branching away from Amazon, but I don't want to lean too heavily on it. And James, I appreciate your comment, bud. I had a question. I'm curious whether the rates justify the extra insurance coverage. So Amazon does require you to have extra insurance coverage, and that all comes down to you, because people have also asked me, hey, well, what do you pay for insurance? Well, I'll tell them what I pay, but just because I pay $13,000 a year for my first year of authority doesn't mean that you will or that she will, because it depends on, hey, how long have you been in the business? How long have you been driving? What's your driving record like? Hey, where do you live? Where's your business out of? Where do you park your truck? There are a lot of things that go into getting insurance for your truck the first time. It's like a background check. I didn't expect it. It was more than I thought. And it took like a week to go through this process. So yeah, my insurance was around $13,000. Now, the extra insurance that Amazon requires is, I'm sorry, I don't have it straight off the top of my head, but they do require the $1 million liability rather than the $750,000 that the FMCSA requires. But that's with most brokers these days. You just have to get $1 million. But then there was a $1 million aggregate that was added on to that. I don't know. Again, I'm not going to talk about stuff I don't know about, right? I don't want to mislead you guys. I don't know what aggregate is. And I remember talking to my insurance broker about it, and it was confusing when she was talking to me about it. But it's what Amazon required. So I had the $1 million plus $1 million aggregate, plus I needed trailer interchange with them up to $50,000, and I needed business liability insurance, and I don't remember what that limit was. I think it was $1 million in business liability insurance. Business liability insurance is, if I walk into one of their facilities and I hit something and I knock their operation out of business, or something breaks, or I don't know, I bump into an employee and he falls down the stairs or something that is non-driving is what business liability insurance covers. And so they required that. Now, all I can tell you is that my extra expense for those coverages was $300 for the year. I mean, that was it for the year, for 12 months. So, of course, it was worth it for me. The rates, even, the lower rates, yeah, it was still worth it for me because it only cost me an extra $300 a year to pull for Amazon. Okay. Um, so I'm just looking at comments here. I'm sorry, guys. Henry, I feel you, brother. Going on the third week of searching for insurance. So, by the way, Henry, and I'll get to Tex, hang in there. Black August, hang in there. Henry, listen, I hope you're checking with brokers. Okay, don't call Progressive directly. They're just going to give you their rates, or any other big insurance company out there. Call a broker, and a broker who specializes in big trucks, because a broker has access to several insurance companies, and you only have to do one application, and then that broker will submit your application to insurance companies that he thinks fit your profile. Okay, so talk to a broker and don't waste your time calling individual. Like the broker I talked to, they did call Progressive, and really Progressive wasn't. It was another $3,500 a month. A year. It was another $3,500 a year for Progressive. I thought it was going to be like $10,000 from everything that I was hearing, but it was only another $3,500. So obviously I didn't go with them, right? But talk to a broker. That's my advice to you, bud. Black August, how you doing, bud? Is it a good idea to lease a box truck instead of buying it outright? So this is tax stuff. Okay, this is tax information. I'm not gonna. I don't want to really go down that slippery slope with you. I'm going to tell you what I would do and why. Okay, after getting my truck, and it was a lease. I only put down $3,000, I think, a little bit less than $3,000 on it, and I had monthly payments of only $1,375. I think it was a 5-year loan, so my payments were pretty decent. Okay, it was a decent lease, but in the end, I told myself that if I were going to get another truck, would I purchase or would I lease? And this is what I would do for my situation. Is I said, I'm going to lease a truck. I'm going to lease a brand new truck, so that I don't have the typical maintenance issues that start happening, after about a couple 100,000 miles. And even if I did, they would be covered under warranty, right? So I would lease a truck and I would pay for an extended warranty. And the way I see it is, first of all, everything in a lease payment is 100% deductible. Okay, so your payment, your warranty, and all that, it's 100% deductible. And the way I justified that in my brain, and you guys can tell me if I am wrong, is that I'm prepaying my maintenance. Okay, so I'm paying for this warranty, and this warranty is going to keep me out of the big trouble. Okay, because even with new equipment, you can have catastrophic failure. Okay, but I had a huge breakdown with my truck, and it pisses me off because it wasn't engine related. It was the DEF system. All right. So $30,000 later, I have a brand new truck as far as the DEF system's concerned, right? So I just decided that I'm going to pay ahead of time and pay for a good warranty and an extended warranty. And yeah, it's going to cost me more per month, but I'm not going to have the maintenance issues either. I'm not going to have that payment. Plus, the biggest thing actually is my peace of mind. I will not have to worry going down the road whether or not this damn thing is going to suddenly blow up on me or just stop and pull to the side of the road. Okay, I don't have that worry. So that's what I would do if I bought a new truck. Now, you're talking about a box truck. When you get a loan and you purchase equipment outright, you don't get to write the whole payment off, okay? You can only write off the interest portion. But what you do have available to you at tax time is the fact that you can depreciate the vehicle, okay? And so that can be huge depending on how much you spent, what's the vehicle worth. You definitely need a tax consultant with that, okay? So it's up to you, man. And really it's easier to lease than it is to purchase. Hold on. For me, it was easier for me to lease. First of all, if I were to purchase the same truck, I was going to have to put down 10 grand or something, as I recall. And so I was happy with the lease. I think I paid a little bit more in the end by the time everything was done, but it wasn't crazy. So that's the main difference between a lease and a purchase, as far as I'm concerned. But a tax guy is going to tell you a whole lot more, and it's going to get into that a whole lot more for you, because unfortunately, I do people's taxes, but I'm not really a tax guy, okay? So that's about the best I can do, is just give you like my experience without like bullshitting you all afternoon about that, okay? All right. Tex, would you say here they want an additional 2 miles a gallon plus, what were we talking about? I can't remember what we were talking about there, Tex. I'm trying to think. Anybody help me out? Help an old man out? At any rate, yes, sir. You are welcome. Guys, listen, these are just my opinions, right? I don't claim to know it all. I don't claim to be your guru, your trucking guru. I think that I've got experience. I've been driving since 2005. Let me just tell you a little bit. Insurance. I was talking about insurance. They want an additional. Yes. Oh, additional 2 million. Got you now, Tex. Yes. Yep. Exactly right. But like I said, that was only $300 a year in my case, to add that coverage. Yes, sir. Gotcha, Tex. Exactly right. I was saying, I'm driving since 2005. Before that, I was a locomotive engineer for Southern Pacific and Union Pacific Railroad. So I've had a lot to deal with in heavy equipment. And one time I'll tell you guys a story about my first night out on the road as a student driver with a trainer, first time behind the wheel of a big truck out on the open road, and he's asleep in the bunk. I'll tell you about that someday. Luckily, I had an appreciation for heavy equipment. So I also have a company called TransAudit that does mock DOT audits for companies. So I will go in and I will ask for their driver qualification files. I will ask for logbooks and the papers that they should have, for your drug consortium information, and I will do a mock DOT audit for them and tell them what their DOT audit health is. And a lot of times it's because they have one coming up in about 30 days. So I have experience there. I have a little knowledge, I'll say it again, about a lot of things. And my goal is just to impart that on you. So I don't claim to know everything there is about trucking. I will make mistakes, and I'll be the first to admit it. I will make mistakes, and when I do, I would expect you guys to let me know that either by email or in the chat. Don't be afraid. Hey, I admit my mistakes. But my goal is to just inform you of my knowledge because, listen, I've got 1.2 million miles incident and accident free. And a lot of stories. 15 years driving. I've probably only driven 13 of those years. That's not a long time, okay? I'm still learning. Every time I get in the truck, I'm learning. But that's me just being real. I'm not going to blow, air up your skirts. I'm not going to try to talk about something I don't know. If I don't know, I'm going to tell you guys. Okay, so that's that. What else you guys got? Anything? If not, I think it's about time to find the Knob Creek. Listen, guys, I'm going to do this every Monday. Looks like the 3 o'clock hour is a little bit more busier than the 5 o'clock hour last week. If you guys have a specific time that you think is good on Mondays, hey, let me know. I can switch things around. I'll try to be a little bit more structured in the future. I hope that you got some good information from the hours of service. If you did not know what was happening with that, there's some good stuff coming with that. There's pros and cons to it, okay? I don't want to get into all the dirt or whatever. I wanted to show the highlights of it and show how it can work, within your particular operation. I really like the 7-3. I like the fact of extending my 14-hour day. And I like the fact that now when I'm fueling, I can use that as part of a 30-minute break if I have to, although these days I don't need to use that. So if that's it, you guys, Henry, you're welcome, bud. I'll talk to you guys next week. Subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell, because I'm uploading those videos. I have 4 of them, 2 about Convoy and 2 others about IFTA, that I'll be getting up in the next 4 or 5 days, if not sooner. Okay, it's a pleasure for me to have you guys listen to me. I hope that I've been helpful to you. If you have any comments, constructive criticism, please email me, TruckingTopicsToday@gmail.com, and let's have a discussion, okay? All right, guys, so that's it, man. I made it through this live stream with short notice on this particular software, so I appreciate you guys again, and as always, please be safe out there.